Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today, class, we will continue with our chapter 9, layout strategies. We have discussed in the previous lecture the process-oriented layout, and as I told you, as I promised you, last lecture we discussed only theoretically the process-oriented layout, and today, okay, we will continue with the process-oriented layout, but we will today we will take an example, practical example, how to arrange departments or work centers as a process-oriented layout. So our lecture today will be about calculations, quantitative methods with regard to the arrangement of departments in a particular building or a particular company. Okay, and just to recall with you, process layout is the fifth type of layouts. We have discussed already office layout, retail layout, and we have finished also the third one, which is the warehouse or storage layout. The fourth one was fixed position layout, and the fifth one is the process-oriented layout. After the process-oriented layout, we still have two types of layouts, which is the work cells layout, and of course the last one will be the product layout. So let's continue now with our process-oriented layout. Okay, now to start with, as I told you, theoretically we understand already what is process-oriented layout. Today we have to understand it. How do we really arrange and solve the problems of arranging our departments in the company? This is the formula that we are going to use. It's a very simple formula. Yani don't look at the size of the formula. It's easy to apply. It is cost. Okay, we said minimize cost because of course our purpose, our objective always to minimize cost. Cost will be equal to the sum of the sum. هلا don't worry about this because you will understand it later on in our practical example, but I want to remind you that this is not a square, or this one, these are not squares, these are إشارة السميشن، إشارة المجموع. شباب أنا قلت لكم هي بالباوربوينت بتبين وكأنها مربع، لكن هاي إشارة السميشن، the sum of x multiplied by c. Now what is n? N is the total number of work centers or departments. So if we are solving a problem with 5 departments, n will be equal to 5. If it is 6 departments, so n will be 6, and so on. Okay, I and j, it's only symbols used for departments, and in order to differentiate between departments. When we say I and j, it means department I and department j. X, now what is important is X and C. Now X is the number of loads, and we define what is loads last lecture, that you have to move between department A, let's say, or department I and department J. How many loads do we have to move from department I to department J? This is X, okay? And at the same time, what is the cost of moving one load from department I to department J? And this will be C as the cost of moving one load from department I to department J. Let's take an example. I think the example will clarify thing, but you have to focus with me in this simple example. A certain company, okay, arrange 6 departments in a factory to minimize the material handling cost. Now each department is 20 by 20 feet. يعني length 20 and width is 20. يعني كل department بيطلع على شكل مربع، يعني department space. Okay, and the whole building is 60 feet length or long and 40 feet width. Okay, or the width of the building is 40 feet. Now the cost of moving, this is important now. The cost of moving one load between adjacent departments is estimated to be $1. Now what's the meaning of adjacent department. Again, the cost to move one load between adjacent department is $1, but the cost to move the one load between non-adjacent department is $2. Now, what's the difference between adjacent department and non-adjacent department? الادجacent department هي الديبارتمنتس المتجاورة اللي بتكون متلاصقة. النون adjacent department اللي بيكون في بيناتها space. Okay? Now you have to concentrate because in our example now we'll see some of the departments will be adjacent متجاورات بالضبط متلاصقات عشان هيك الكلفة to move one load will be only $1, but if you move one load from a department to another department which is non-adjacent department, then it will cost us $2. I will show you this now clearly in the figure. And these are the requirements you have to construct from to matrix. We call it from to, from department I to department J. But that's why we call it a matrix. Determine the space requirements, develop an initial schematic diagram, and we will see now together the diagram, determine the cost of this layout, and we will see how to calculate the cost of the layout based on the formula in the previous slide. And we will try always to improve our layout. Yani we'll start with one solution, then maybe we can improve that solution. Improving the solution means يعني looking for another arrangement انك تعمل arrangement آخر للdepartments بحيث تقلل التكلفة أكثر. And you have also to prepare a detailed plan. Don't worry about the requirements. It looks يعني many requirements, but in fact you will see now the solution will be very simple. Let's start with this example. Now, by the way, guys, this will be given in the question. This is given in the question. Don't worry. Okay. Now, this is our example. We have 6 departments. Okay. The assembly, the painting, machine, shop, department, receiving, and shipping and testing. So 6 departments here. We have them vertically here. We have them here horizontally, and we have the same departments also vertically. Let me explain to you this given. This will be given. I repeat, this will be given to you in the question. Now we have to move, let's say, number of loads per week, yani weekly, from the assembly department to the painting department, 50 loads. But from assembly, for example, to the machine shop department, we have to move 100 loads. Okay, to the receiving, nothing. We don't have to move any loads from assembly to receiving. From assembly to shipping also we don't have to, there is no loads, yani no interaction between these two departments. And we have to move from the assembly to the testing department 20 loads daily, weekly, and so on. From painting, for example, to machine shop, 30 loads, receiving 50 loads, 10 loads, nothing for the testing. From the machine shop, which is department number 3, we have to move 20 loads for receiving, 0 loads for shipping, nothing, 100 loads for testing. And of course, from the receiving department, which is number 4, we have to move 50 loads for department number 5, which is the shipping department. As I told you, these are given, and we have to move nothing from shipping to testing because here it's 0. Okay, now to make it, I told you this table will be given. To make it more clear, now we will see the first possible arrangement of these 6 departments. We arrange it. Don't forget, each department is 20 by 20 feet. 20 feet length and 20 feet width. عشان هيك بتيجي على شكل square. Okay, these are the 6 departments. This is our first possible solution. We arrange them in this way. In the assembly department here, then painting, then machine shop, then receiving, then shipping, then testing. And don't forget also that the building, as you can see, the building is 60 feet long. Yeah, 20 plus 20, because this is 20 feet plus 20 feet. The building is given also in the question. It is 60 feet long, and as you can see the width is 40 feet wide. Okay, because we have only two departments, as you can see, 20 plus 20 only. But here in the length we have three departments, that's why it's 60 feet. This is our first arrangement. هذا الترتيب تبعنا. Let's, me and you, try to calculate now moving the loads from each department as the given in the previous slide to the targeted department, and let's calculate for the cost of moving loads. But you have to remember the given, okay, in the question with regard the number of loads that has to be moved from one department to another department, and you have to take into consideration also, guys, the cost of moving one load from one department to another department. I am reminding you, if you move any load between adjacent department, then the cost will be only $1. Now, if you look here, for example, the assembly department and the painting department, they are adjacent. So to move these 50 loads, how much it will cost us? We will multiply here by, yani per load, it will be only $1. But for example, from the assembly to the machine shop departments, since the assembly department and the machine shop department are non-adjacent, يعني مش متجاورات، مش بحد بعض، مش متلاصقات, then the cost for moving one load will be $2. Okay, you understand what's the meaning adjacent and non-adjacent? For example, assembly and the testing, they are also not non-adjacent departments. So if you will move anything from the assembly department to the testing department, the cost per load will be also $2. But as I said, from assembly to painting, it's $1, and so on. Okay, so الادجacent department اللي بيكونوا متلاصقات. هلا الاسمبلي مثلا we're receiving adjacent, الاسمبلي and the shipping adjacent, but the assembly and the testing, they are not adjacent department. The machine shop, for example, department 3 and department 4, they are non-adjacent department. You see في مسافة بيناتهم أطول، مش متجاورات. فالتكلفة, the cost of moving one load, okay, it's either $1 for adjacent department or $2 for non-adjacent department. So let's start solving this simple example. Now, if you recall, it's given for you as I told you. Now we have to move from the assembly department to the machine shop department. How many loads? 100. So it will be 100 multiplied by 2. So it will be, the cost will be 200. Okay, why by $2? Because it's non-adjacent department, لأنهم القسمين مش متجاورات. Now plus 50 loads, we have to move 50 loads from the assembly department to the painting department, and they are both adjacent department. That's why it will be 50 multiplied by $1 only. Okay, what else? From the assembly also we have to move 20 loads from the assembly department, according to the given, of course, in our table, to the testing department. So it will be 20 multiplied by 2. Sorry, why? Because the assembly department and the testing department are non-adjacent. Let's see, and we will go back again. The first one, you see, I'll show you now. Now the cost will be equal, if you recall, $50. Why $50? 50 multiplied by 1. Okay, why $50? It's 50 loads multiplied by 1, it's $50. But the 100 loads that we have to move, I will show you here. Here, the 100 loads, it will be multiplied by 2. Why? Because the assembly and the machine are non-adjacent departments. So 100 loads multiplied by $2, it will be $200. Okay, if we go back again, forward, here you see that's why it's $200. And of course the 20 loads also, okay, it's multiplied by $2. That's why we have here a $40, okay, between department 1 and 6. Again, department 1 and 2, assembly will painting, they are adjacent. We have to move 50 loads, 50 multiplied by $1, it's $50. between department 1, which is the assembly, and department 3, okay, they are non-adjacent. That's why we multiply the 100 loads by 2. That's why it's $200. And between the assembly department 1 and department 6, we multiply the 20 loads by 2. That's why it's $40. And we will do the same for the others. For example, from department 2 to department 3, okay, we have, I will show you, go back here, يعني go now, we finish from the assembly. الأسمبلي بيعطي لثلاثة for 3 departments. Now we'll take the painting. We can see, as we can see, we have to move 30 loads from painting department 2 to department 3. How many loads? 30. But it's adjacent departments, so 30 multiplied by 1, it will be 30 only. Now from also painting to receiving, we have to move $50, and it's also adjacent, so 50 by 1. And from painting to also to shipping, here from 2 to 5, we have to move 10 loads, 10 multiply also by 1, okay. And we can see it here now, okay. You see 30 by 1 twice from department 2 to department 3. From department, we have to move 30, the cost is $30. Here the cost is $50. From department 2 to department 5, we have to move 10 loads. 10 multiplied by $1 is $10, okay. We will go also at the same to do with the third department. Now from machine shop, what we have to move, what loads? We have to move loads from 3 to 4. You see how many loads? 20. But here from machine shop to receiving, الماشين شوب وريسيفينج they are non-adjacent department، مش متجاورات، وبالتالي ال 20 loads هاي حتى ننقلها التكلفة بدها تكون $2 per load. So 20 multiplied by 2, we will have, as you can see here, okay, 20 divided by 2, it will be 40, as you can see. Okay, go back. The second thing, from 3, let's say to 6 here, from department 3 to department 6, you have to move 100 loads, but it's adjacent department. That's why it will be 100 loads multiplied by $1. That's why we will have, as you can see here, 100, okay, $100, as you can see. Then we have also to move the last thing from department 4 to department 5. Also, we will see now together from 4 to 5. Maybe you will see it in the figure much better, okay. What we have to move from 4 to 5, this is department 4 to department 5. We have to move 50 loads. Now each load will cost us $1 only, so 50 multiplied by $1, it will be $50, as you can see, from department 4 to 5 here, $50, because it's adjacent department. Now that's why we have sum of the sum. هلا بناخذ السم للكل, okay, for all of it. Then our total cost will be, with this arrangement, with this layout, will be $570. This is the total cost. Now guys, as I told you, this is not necessarily to be the optimal solution, okay. Now by trial and error, me and you now will try to improve the layout to establish a better arrangement of departments. يعني better arrangement of departments means خلينا نحاول to find another possible arrangement or layout with less cost. We'll try to exchange, هذا حل ثاني هلا. Second possible arrangement هيا revised interdepartmental flow graph. هلا الاسمبلي اذا بتتذكروا كان هون، والبينتينج اللي هو ديبارتمنت نمبر 2 it was here. هلا غيرناهم، نشوف بعطينا حل افضل، بعطينا تكلفة اقل ولا ما بعطينا. هذا by trial and error، احنا بنجرب، بسموها استخدام طريقة التجربة والخطأ. we are trying to improve our solution. شو بدلنا بس الاسمبلي، بدل ما كان هون حطيناه بدلناه هو والبينتينج مع بعض. we will see if this is a better arrangement or a better layout or a better assignment or it's not better assignment. Of course it will, if it will give us a lower cost, then this is will be a better a much better layout from the first arrangement or from the first assignment. So we'll do the same as we did a while ago. But if you notice here, if we'll start always with number one, the assembly department, okay, now we have to move 50 loads to department 2, yani 1 to 2, adjacent. So 50 multiplied by 1, so it will be 50. Also, we have to move from the assembly department to the machine department 100 loads. It will be only multiplied by 1. A while ago in the first solution, this 100 loads was multiplied by 2. لما الاسمبلي كان هون اوكي وحولت هون ال100 كانت مضروبه باثنين, but now we will multiply it by 1. ليش؟ لانه صار الاسمبلي ديبارتمنت والماشين ديبارتمنت صاروا adjacent متجاورات, وبالتالي الكلفه بير لود, the cost per load is only now $1, not $2. So we'll do the same now, the same exactly what we did a while ago, but as I told you, with the different, we replace the assembly department by the painting department. If you can see now the solution, and we will see if it will give us a lower cost or not. From department 1 to 2, اللي هي من الاسمبلي للبينتينج, we have to move 50 loads. It is adjacent. From 1 to 3, department 1 to 3, as I told you, it is 100 loads, but why $100 now? Because we multiply 100 loads multiplied by $1 only, and here we have 20, okay, from department 1 to 6, you see the same تنقلات نفسها. From department 2 to department 3, 60 from $, طبعا هذا جاهز يعني مضروب already it is already multiplied by the cost per load. From department 2 to department 4, $50. From 2 to 5, $10. And from 3 to 4, $40. From 3 to 6, $100. And from 4 to 5, $50. Yani, as I told you, with the little adjustment that we did in this arrangement, our cost is now $480, which is less. If you can see the solution a while ago, it was $570. But now, when we exchange, okay, the arrangement between the painting and the assembly department, our cost now in the second solution is less, which is only, instead of $570, it is now only $480. So this layout, second layout, has a better arrangement or a better assignment, okay, or a better layout than the first one. Why? Because we have now less cost than the 570. Instead of 570, with this second solution, we have only the total cost of moving loads between departments is only $400. Now, just to tell you that still even the second solution, this is the second arrangement. This is, as I told you, we just exchange. In the first solution, assembly can hone was here, the painting was here. So when we exchange them, okay, we save money, because our cost when the assembly was here, it was $570, but when we change it, when we exchange the assembly with the painting, our cost was less, which was only $480. Okay, so the second solution is better, or the second layout or the second arrangement is better than the first one. I want you now to focus with me, please. This is almost, yani, and after that we will end this lecture. Insights, or let's say notes. This switch of departments, the switch اللي عملناه between the assembly and the painting, is only one of large number of possible changes. يعني احنا ما بنحكي انه وصلنا للحل الامثل, الoptimal solution. لسه there is another, how many, what do you think? Arranging 6 departments, guys, here, take note here, arranging 6 departments, there are, in order to arrange 6 departments, there are 720 possible ways or arrangement or layouts to do it. Imagine, يعني ممكن ترتب الديبارتمنتس الستة هدول ب 720 طريقة مختلفة. احنا عملنا 2 منهم. اوكي؟ طب كيف عرفنا انه 720؟ How did we know that there are 720 possible assignments, okay, or possible arrangement for these 6 departments? لانه دائما عندك 6 departments، خد الفاكتوريال اوف 6، 6 فاكتوريال وي كول ات، مضروب الستة بعطيك the number of possible arrangement. اوكي، فمضروب الستة اذا بتتذكروا وانتم صغار اخذتوه، هو عبارة عن لما كنا نحكي مضروب الستة اللي بالانجليزي طبعا بنسميه 6 فاكتوريال، اللي هي يعني 6 في 5 في 4 في 3 في 2 في 1. It will be equal to 720 ways in order there is a 720 possible arrangements, okay, or possible layouts or possible assignments. Of course we cannot do this huge number, يعني we cannot try all of them, okay, we do by trial and error. So in our example here we only try 2 solutions, 2 possible assignments of the 720 possible assignments. Now in layout problems we may not find the optimal solution. احنا ما بنحكي انه ال 480 اللي طلعناها or whatever it is the best solution, but at least it is a reasonable one. بنحاول نصل دائما not really for the optimal solution but at least for a reasonable solution. But guys, if there is a software، لو عندك نظام في الشركة software، okay, the software can do it and can select for you the optimal solution. okay, من 720 حل ممكن يوجد لك الoptimal solution. okay, but don't worry, in exams I will determine for you، يعني the question will tell you إنه what arrangement to do, but what you need to do is only a calculation. okay, so don't worry about that. That's why I decided I will give you another example next lecture also in process layout. يعني next lecture also will be on process layout. It will be example 2, and for example 2 I will show you that sometimes I will give you only 3 departments. With 3 departments it's easy for you to solve for the number of possible assignments، لأنه لما يكون عندك 3 departments it will be 3 factorial، 3 multiplied by 2 by 1, so there will be only for next example 6 possible arrangement, and we will do, me and you, the 6 possible arrangement or potential arrangement, and we will select the best or the optimal solution. This will be inshallah in next example to explain things further for you. okay, try please to study this example, please study it well so that if you have any question you can ask, okay, before the lecture of Wednesday, because on Wednesday I will give you another example. We will explain it in details. Now if you don't study this example, it will be very difficult for me to explain, or it will be very, very difficult for you, by the way, to understand the second example. This ends our lecture for today. As I told you, next lecture we will continue with the second example of process layout. Until then, thank you very much.